here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only because I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, oh, tonight we're stars, but we'll fade away. Go on, light me up. Oh, go on, light me up while we're golden. Come on, light me up. Oh, come on, light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down. So before we come down, down, down. Go on, light me up. Oh, go on, light me up while we're golden. Come on, light me up. Oh, come on, light me up before we come down.
Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering four.
Three
He's
do.
blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega. Hello everybody and welcome into PGR ESPORTS live from Talladega Superspeedway. We were at Daytona last week, but back to home. It's good to be here, and tonight got co-host as always Matthew Baker, and joining us as well is Dawson Wise. How you fellas doing tonight?
I'll tell you what, I'm doing great, Austin. Glad to be back up here with you guys. Took a week to race while I had a chance, but I wanted to get back up here after the race we saw last week, and I can't wait for this one.
And Baker right now tending to some of his race control duties, so we'll have him here as the race gets going. But let's get things rolling, get him started as the drivers get ready to roll off on the starting grid tonight. The man on the pole is going to be Kevin Freeze. He puts down a 55.588. Nice lap from Kevin to his outside. It's going to be Alex Hill in the 77. Row 2 is going to be Garrett Maines, followed by Andrew Navarro on his outside. Going on back to 5th, it's Jason Maines. To his outside is Ken McCall Jr. 7th starts Cody Nagels with Matt Lee in 8th. Dylan Basson back in 9th, and Kyler Wynn rounding out your top 10.
Row 6 will be Daniel Eberhardt in the 90 and Michael Triscaro, series owner, in the 34. Row 7 will be Raymond Hanneman in 13th in the 85, and his outside Coke Series driver Michael Guest in the 54. Row 8 will be PGR driver Nash Brambilla, and to his outside KSR's Trevor Osrenon. Row 9 will be Mark Vondell in the 59 from McCullough Motorsports, and Logan York in the 48. And rounding out the top 20 will be Malik Ray in the 15 and David Sheets in the 1.
21st will be Zach Range, J.R. Miller in 22nd, Steve Sizemore back in 23rd, Ryan Bates rolls off 24th, it's going to be Jeff Merck in 25th, Ron Morris Jr. in 26th, sponsor tonight's race, Larry McDonald back in 27th, William Hicks in 28th, Aiden Kirk 29th, and Richard Elliott rounding out your top 30.
Frederick Ladouceur, I'm assuming I'm getting that right. The 51, he'll roll from 31st. Brock Westmoreland to his outside in 32nd. It'll be Garrison Hogan, a new driver, in 33rd, with Mike Davenport to his outside. Brandon Broadfoot makes his return to Thursdays in the 10. He starts 35th, and Chad Ross will start to his outside in 36th. Brent Garber, a new name tonight, in the 21. He'll roll from 37. And Tucker McClendon rolls from 38th, rounding out the top 40. William Ransone and Sierra Clamper.
Austin B. Floyd in 41st. John Ward 42nd. Multi-time winner here. Dylan Jones in 43rd. And rounding out the field tonight, it's going to be Danny Esselman. He will roll off 44th. Taking a look at your race info here on the night. Weather outside, 77 degrees. 15% humidity, clear skies. Winds at 2 miles an hour. It's the RRP 44. Tonight in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, back after a couple weeks in the Xfinity cars. Going to be 44 laps, 85% fuel, no fast repairs. Everybody does have unlimited tires, fixed setups as always, and 3 green-white checkers if you need them. Talladega, 2.65 miles in length, over 30 degrees of banking in the corners, and track temp tonight going to be starting at 78 degrees. So nice cool temps, Dawson. I think we're going to see a lot of racing early, but before we get to that, see if we got Baker up in the booth to tell us a little bit more about what the fuel window is looking like. Looks like he's still getting some things sorted out down there. So we'll refer to him a little bit later, but here we go. Another field, another big payout tonight. Well over 40 trucks. The winner tonight could be going home with well over $300 as well. And those payouts extend all the way back to the top 6. We'll talk more on that as the race goes on, but here we go. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, PGR ESPORTS. Green flag is in the air.
Kevin Freese leads lap 1, pushed up top by Alex Hill and the RMR Tuesday Night Thunder champion Andrew Navarro. Garrett Maines now pushes on the back of Kevin Freese in the 25. He leads the bottom. Jason Maines in behind him. It's Cody Nagels running notably with NBG Motorsports tonight in the 6. He's now third up on the outside line. Still 2x2. Nobody testing the waters up top yet, and I'm kind of surprised at the same time. Not really. This is kind of how we saw Tuesday night's race go as well.
Yeah, and remember, Dawson, they were at Daytona last week, and that track a lot narrower than here at Talladega, so I think a lot of these guys right now maybe think to themselves, wow, man, that third lane looks pretty open, and that's because it is. You can make it work pretty easily here at Talladega, and now that we're back in the trucks, I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive pushing again, but so far, as you noted, everything nice, calm, cool, and collected up front. It's the 77 of Alex Hill and Kevin Freese. No surprise to see 2 of the veterans at it early, but I think we're going to see a couple of the pros try to be a little bit more conservative tonight, Dawson. I mean, one of the things that you see when we're over here in the trucks is usually a lot of aggression, and Michael Guest got caught up in an unfortunate wreck last week, and with no fast repairs, you really got to make sure that you make that move at the right time and don't get caught up in someone else's mess.
Well, absolutely, and you touched on it. The no fast repair is huge here on Thursday nights, a new change that's been made, and you can tell the changes it makes to the racing. Guys not quite as willing to make some of the most daring moves that we've seen them make in the past. They still are able to race hard, though, the guys that know how to do it when they're up here at the front. But I'm still a little bit surprised nobody stepped out in the third lane. Freeze back up across Alex Hill. That actually stacks up the top a little bit. Kenny McCullough had to dive out of line back there about 5 or 6 trucks deep because of the stack up. Nonetheless, Freeze able to get right on the nose of Alex Hill. No surprise to see some of these guys running up front right now when the big payouts are on the line. Freeze, Hill, Maines, Nagels, Navarro, they all find their way to the front. No surprises who's leading the field early. Here comes Garrett Maines on the bottom.
Yeah, and you saw Kyler Wynn jump on a line coming through the tribal. Not sure if he got some help or was just testing the waters, but quickly got right back in line as there you see the 34 of Michael Triscaro. Boy, that's a good-looking paint scheme here tonight. I think it's a new one. It looks like he's got the USA colors and the Ghost Racing Network logo on there as well somewhere. Actually, maybe not, but man, nonetheless, that is a beautiful looking truck from Michael Triscaro. We'll see if series owner can get it in victory lane here tonight. Logan York on the bottom with Ken McCullough Jr. You see the 85 of Raymond Hanneman. Let's talk about this guy for just a moment. On Wednesday, saw him get his first win that I've been broadcasting for, at least, over in Jeff's Weeksoft series. And he's carrying the momentum here tonight. Feels like he's got a lot better of a shot throwing with the big dogs now that he's got some confidence behind him. And he's showing that he can do just that. He's already up 4 positions from where he started. He sits 9th. He's a Toyota. He's got a couple Toyotas in front and behind. But up front, it is still Kevin Freese working the lanes. Was on the bottom. Now he's going to jump back to the top. Garrett Maines will get a chance to peek on the bottom.
Well, that's the key for Raymond Hanneman, his confidence, absolutely. And running on Monday nights, I get to see him every week, and you got to see him a little bit racing against him. But over the past few weeks, the confidence has gone to an all-time high for Hanneman. He likes to run up front. He likes to control where he's at on the racetrack, and he's doing it now tonight with the big dogs. This is a big opportunity for him in a big payout race to really get some momentum going, get his name on the map in a big way. Third lane was working further back. I think it's Ryan Baste, a couple others, but now they start to dive back in line. Oh, now Kyler Wynn jumps out. Third lane's working about 10 rows deep as we hit lap 6.
Yeah, and as we go a little further back, you're going to start to see that third lane form up top. You see the 51 trying to get up there and make something happen. That is indeed Frederick Ledoucheur, who you talked about earlier in the race, Dawson, but we saw him last week. He had what looked like a pretty good chance. He showed a lot of speed, a lot of promise, but got caught up in a couple of big wrecks, and we didn't get to see him make it to the end of this race. And man, with no fast repair, it just makes me nervous seeing these guys go 3 wide, a couple of them bailing out, a couple of them dicing around. You see the veteran there, Ken McCullough Jr. Looks like he's maybe thinking about backing it up just a couple truck lengths here. Is Daniel Eberhard. He'll pull a big side draft off of NASCAR Brambilla, getting a push from Kyler Wynn. And those Fords are going to go to the front here pretty quickly, actually make it a Ford and a Chevy. But Kyler Wynn, we know he is not shy when it comes to aggression, and those 2 trucks are starting to tandem away from the rest of the third lane.
Yeah, just a little bit. No surprise there. They're making some hay. They're up to about the 5th row in line, but unfortunately for them, without a third truck here, not going to be able to go much further than that. The run will stall when they get to them. So I think alongside Nash Brambilla and Raymond Hanneman, as far as they're going to get for now until Michael Triscaro and a couple of others can make their way forward, get back in the back end, and try to reform this run. And if you're the leaders, you liking what you're seeing, but maybe not for long. Nash Brambilla says, I see a gap, I'm going to take it. Cody Nagel says, I'm going to take it. All of a sudden, here in 3 and 4, Austin, we are 8 rows deep, 3 wide, 3 by 3.
Yeah, the closer you get to the front, when you see aggression pick up, it just makes you want to get even farther to the front. That's what we're seeing out of Cody Nagels right now. Getting help from Astro. Oh, rack it out back. 2 around, 1 hard into the wall. As it's going to collect a couple more draws. First caution of the night, the 42. Malik Ray, nowhere to go. I think he was able to miss it, though. I think he just dove to the inside. It was William Ransone. We saw spinning as well, trying to figure out who it was that made that hard contact to the outside wall. Go back and figure it out here. Let's go take a look. 8 laps complete is when that first caution does fly. And here's William Ransone towards the back. Again, I think he was the one to get turned, and I was surprised that I didn't see much damage because he definitely slams the outside wall right here. You see him riding behind the 6 truck of Dylan Jones, and watch as they start to go up the track. He gets turned into that outside wall, and yeah, that was a pretty good shot as the front end goes in the back end. But yeah, I don't see much damage there. It's when he gets T-boned. But actually, the 24 net codes through him almost. That's another really odd-looking wreck. You see, he just kind of shoots through that truck. I'm not sure how much damage he got, but you would have thought William Ransone's car would have been absolutely totaled from this one. Here you go. Let's take another look from the chopper view. Play it nice and slow for you here. Watch Ransone. Oh, there's a little bit of a checkup in the middle. You see that checkup starts to extend out back, and then Ransone, once he gets checked up, that pushes him up the track a little bit. It looks like, I believe it's at the 12 coming down, or the 2 rather, coming down just a little bit. Maybe some slight net code between them. Dawson, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think actually what starts it is further up. Kyler Wynn had just dropped out of the 3rd lane into the 2nd lane, and I think it starts to stack up in behind him. It was a very tight window, and the few trucks behind him had to immediately get on the brakes just to stay off of him, and unfortunately the checkup works its way back. It gets back to William Ransone, and there's nowhere to go for anybody back there once that stack up gets there. There's not much you can do. So to me, just kind of a thing where Kyler Wynn saw an opportunity to get out of the 3rd line and play it safe, and unfortunately for the guys behind him, it doesn't really end up working out for them.
Yeah, and remember that stack up gets worse the further back you go. So that's a tough break for Ransone, but again, it's oddly enough, it doesn't look like the damage is all that bad. The 24, Steve Sizemore, was one that clobbered him, and then we saw Malik Ray dive through the grass. Again, don't believe he got any damage. 42 machine was just making sure he took the safe route to keep his truck clean. We'll take a couple more angles of this one here. How about one with TV static cam? Actually, we're going to take just one more shot of this from the blimp cam. And watch Malik Ray. You're going to see him dive down low. I think he's the only truck that has to go all the way to the pits to miss this. And I think that was a smart choice, Dawson. Sometimes when we see these wrecks start, they'll go a lot longer than you expect, and you think that you're good to get back up on the track. Next thing you know, they're still wrecking. You find yourself in it. But here we go up front. Jeff Merck currently being scored as your leader. William Hicks in second. Frederick Ledusser in third. Ron Morris Jr. back in fourth. Brock Westmoreland in fifth. Mike Davenport in sixth. Kevin Free seventh. Garrett Maines eighth. Alex Hill ninth. And Cody Nagels rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, interesting decision here from the top 6 trucks to stay on the racetrack. They flip track position, get about 30 spots out of this. So an interesting decision early to flip the track position, try to maybe perhaps change up the strategy here as it gets closer to being a no pit stop race. Obviously a little bit more fuel in these trucks tonight. So perhaps that's what these top 6 are doing. Just getting up front, going to try to run up front, stay up here with the leaders. And then when it comes down to it, they'll be better off on strategy.
And I think you basically just cued our race control / third broadcaster, Matthew Baker. Baker, first of all, how you doing tonight? It's the first chance we get to talk to you. And what is it looking like for fuel strategy now for these guys the rest of the way?
I think it's pretty close on the one stop. Doing good. I was looking at about 24 laps a tank, it looked like. We're coming to lap, 8 here, 9, coming to 10. So I think it's going to be very close on fuel, and it's going to be a good race to the finish here.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I don't think we're done with caution, so there's a chance that, who knows, maybe we don't get any green flag stops, or maybe we do get that one. We saw some impressive stops last time we were here at Talladega in the trucks. I mean, these guys were fanning out 6-7 wide, going from almost 200 miles an hour down to under 50 that quickly, so we'll see if we get some more of that action here tonight. But good to see everybody in the chat right now. Looks like Tony Cox is in here. Baker's mom, good to see you in here. Thomas Parker, one of the KSR boys, watching tonight. Fred Anderson, thank you guys for letting me know that it does sound good. Checking on that. Heath Job, good to see you out here. And Logan York as well. Logan York actually in the race. And I did meant to shout out earlier. I guess I shouldn't say shout out, but we do have some driver cams here tonight that we haven't had a chance to take a look at just yet. So we'll try to go through a couple of these guys now. And, you know, when we get so many at a certain point, it actually becomes a little bit hard to go through them all evenly. But here's the man right now to keep your eye on. He got the job done on Wednesday in the Week Sauce Series, and I don't know if I'd consider him a small dog anymore. It's Raymond Hanneman, the driver for the 85 machine, one of the Canadian drivers and one of the Toyotas in the field. As he takes a quick drink, he's getting ready to go back green. Currently sits in the 17th position. Another driver that we have on our driver camp tonight is Matt Lee. Got the bright lighting there, and he's getting ready to go. One of the NBG drivers currently down 6 from where he started. He sits in that 14th position. Zach Range, you can never count him out, especially when it comes to time to be aggressive. Another one of our guys carrying it on board for us tonight, and he's got the F1 wheel, Dawson. That seems like it'd be a little harder to do than most things.
Absolutely, it does. I would not personally do it, but I completely respect, the dedication of the craft, I guess, to still do these kinds of races with that kind of wheel. But for me, no, I don't know if I'd ever try something like that.
Yeah, certainly. I don't have the talent level to do it, but we'll take a look at the rest of the driver cams here as we go on through the rest of the race. But getting ready for the restart here. It's going to be 33 laps to go. Make it 34, actually, as the pace car makes that hard left turn down to the pits. He's going to go take 4 in fuel and rolling through the tri-oval. Jeff Merck on the outside. William Rice on the inside, or William Hicks, rather, on the inside. First time up here on the night for him. Green flag is back in the air.
Pretty good start both ways here, but Merck gets a nice jump just at the tail end of the restart zone. Ron Morris, the back end of him. Bottom side going to have to try to regroup as Hicks trying to get a run back. Man, that outside is rolling in such a big way here. Ron Morris doing an excellent job. Here comes the bottom back, but the top only going to be able to manage to keep them even on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Top is rolling, all hooked up, about 4, make it 5 deep as Cody Nagels joins the party all the way back to him in 5th. Merck sees it, drops down, immediately allows Ron Morris a chance to get back up to the lead. They're even here in 3.
Some new pushers towards the front. And how about one of your leaders right now, the sponsor of this race, Ron Morris Jr. Maybe able to bring in some extra luck here tonight. We'll see if he gets the job done as William Hicks, first time pushing this front row here on the night. And if you're Jeff Merck, you need to hold an extra steady wheel for that 2 car. He's got to learn. He's got to learn quick being up here to 51. We saw him try and couldn't quite keep that inside line up. Brock Westmoreland back a lane now as well. He is one of the Team PGR drivers. Just hasn't gotten the new paint yet. Kevin Freeze back 4th on the inside, but that outside is still rolling really well. As you saw Jeff Merck jump back up to the top, it stalled the momentum out for just a moment. But now it looks like Cody Nagels is maybe thinking about taking a peek to that 3rd lane. And Dawson, they kept it clean when they went 3 wide that first time. The wreck wasn't necessarily a direct result of the 3 wide, so they're going to fan it right back out. Maines jumps up, a couple more behind. Lee up to the top as well, and just like that, we're back to 3x3 for about 5 rows deep.
I'm not really surprised, honestly, that the 2 that started it, Alex Hill, Cody Nagels, want to go back to the front. Garrett Maines, you know, he's not going to resist an opportunity to take that run. He goes immediately in front of the middle here in front of Ron Morris. Problem for him is I think he took that a little bit too early. Cody Nagels, power move to the race lead here as we hit lap number 13. Look at the push that Alex Hill and Matt Lee are giving him into 1. Massive run forward by the NBG trucks.
Gets clear to the middle and to the bottom as we take a look at Jeff Merck on board. Oh my goodness! Garrett Maines, oh, he's going to get turned. Jeff Merck goes around and the rest of the field all trying to miss it. Looks like they do as caution is out. We got a couple more collected out back. William Hicks. And oh man, I feel for Jeff on that one based off initial look. I think what happened there is, I was just getting ready to say Garrett slammed the door. You heard Jeff actually have to bail out of the throttle to not turn him, and thinking maybe that caused some stacking up out back that got Jeff turned around in the wrong direction. And man, you saw some pretty violent little ride that we just watched there on the onboard for Jeff Merckx. He's got the sim rig with the active live feed setup, but man, let's go back and take a look at this one. That's, again, a really, really unfortunate break for Merck, who was towards the fronts, but just seems like Dawson's just been one of those kind of runs here for Merck recently. He's had a little pieces of good luck here and there, but overall, man, he just cannot snap the dry streak of just not really any luck. And again, right here, let's see. So you saw Cody initially go to the bottom, but he goes to the middle, and yeah, Garrett's really not clear right there. It's close. You know what? I'll take that back. It's close, and I'll ask for your opinion on this, Dawson. It was really close. I wonder if that would have had a different outcome, though, if Jeff doesn't let off the throttle. But giving Garrett a little credit there, does look like he maybe just barely has it. But at the end of the day, maybe a little too early to be throwing blocks that aggressive. And then Ron Morris Jr., that's actually where this issue is going to start here, as it looks like the top lane starts coming down, gets into the 76 as he gets down, maybe makes slight contact there to Jeff Merck, and then now they're just going to start piling in with nowhere to go as the wreck starts down low with Merck and William Hicks. Merck goes for a spin here. No, actually drives out of it. Didn't see that initially. I thought for sure he got collected up in this, but he drives out of it. So the only bad side for him is he's going to lose some track position. Now, William Hicks, on the other hand, I think he went for a spin, but for what this initially looked like, Dawson, it could have been a whole lot worse. Nice piece of driving by a lot of these guys to miss it.
I was just going to say, as the wreck started, you were still calling it. I was going to say, what a save Jeff Merck, because he drives out of this. I thought he was either going to get hit or get in the wall or something. Manages to pull it out of a spin. So what I see on that, yeah, I think you're right on the Garrett Maines move. Maybe a little bit early for that. Obviously wasn't quite clear. But as the top line starts to move down just a little to side draft Matt Lee and Alex Hill, they make contact with Ron Morris and shoot him to the left. There's actually a tad bit of right rear net code. I don't know if you mentioned that already. I was trying to watch it back, but there's the slightest bit of right rear net code, and it sends Merck. It snaps him right, and as he comes back to the left, it's too late. He's already getting spun off the bumper of Hicks. So what I see there is, just kind of a chain reaction as a result of the moves we saw in one, which again ties back to, might have been a little bit early for all of that.
Absolutely, but nobody really got totaled from that one. Nobody's going to be out of the race. No, of course, no fast repairs, but nobody's going to really have to go in for much repair. I think Brock Westmoreland and William Hicks maybe get the worst of it as Brock locks it down there as he makes slight contact with William Hicks. But as we go back live and up front, and so again, with 24 laps on a fuel run, still not quite going to make it all the way, even if you save. But I think if we get one more caution after this point, that everybody is going to be good to go on fuel. So with that knowledge, it is Garrett Maines being scored as your leader now. Kevin Freeze in second. Ron Morris Jr. in third. Matt Lee back in fourth with Zach Range fifth. John Ward in sixth. Alex Hill in seventh. Cody Nagels eighth. Kyler Wynn in ninth. And Dylan Basson rounding out your top 10.
Well, I think that all but solves our strategy problem, right? Now a caution at lap 15. We're well inside, or at least getting close to inside that 85% fuel number at this point. So perhaps strategy off the table, although, again, we've seen it be close a few times, especially with overtime attempts.
Well, look at this. Trevor Osroff first. We were taking a look there at Michael Triscaro, but first thing we're going to do is take a look here at Trevor Osroff. He's running a throwback. I've not seen something like this before, Dawson. He's got the fabulous Hudson Hornet paint scheme on there, and it says something different. I think it says fabulous Stamper Hornet, and it's one of the funniest but kind of coolest schemes that we see. Yeah, fabulous Stamper Hornet. It's a good little throwback there for Trevor Osroff, as he's got the onboard cam, and don't forget he's got a PGR win under his belt just in front of him. There's Mark Von Dell, another one of the guys that's been showing a lot of strength in the Week Sauce Series. We're looking to see if he can capture one here in PGR, and then of course, last but certainly not least, series owner and another one of the guys that has a new paint scheme on here tonight was Michael Triscaro. Finds himself up in that 11th spot and does have an onboard camera for us here tonight. So a lot of mix of teams, but you know, one of the things that I really like that we see with PGR, Dawson, is as many teams as we have and as big as some of the teams are, at the end of the day, there's so many trucks and so much chaos that you really don't even have to be on a team to have a chance. And I think Dylan Baston's kind of proven my point, as he has been sitting in the top 10 most of the night. You can't forget about Kyler Wynn, all these guys that run solo and still manage to pull out good finishes and cash spots.
Absolutely, and I think back to, and forgive me if I'm a little bit off on this, but if I remember right, Chris Parkman, I think when he won a PGR race several weeks back, I'm pretty sure was running solo that night. So, absolutely, you don't need teammates. You just need to know when to make the right moves. You need to be a little bit more cautious, knowing you don't have anybody that's directly on your team. But if you play your cards right and you're up front at the right time, then absolutely you can cash in on it.
Yeah, Parkman was solo, and it was his first race. Again, still to this day, at least races we've been broadcasting, Dawson, probably the greatest underdog victory. To do it at a track like this, in a field like this, with no team on your first race is just absolutely incredible to me. But take a look at what payouts are looking like here tonight. Was based on 45. We had 44. So they're going to be just about exactly what they said. At least I know first through third, I believe, is. First place going home with $350. Second, $250. $200 for third, $150 for fourth, $125 for fifth, and $50 for sixth. So anywhere in the top six, you're at least doubling your money. And well, I don't want to talk about how much money you can make in first, Dawson. I mean, you start racking these up, and within a couple of weeks, you've already made yourself $1,000. That's a pretty good little paycheck. So we'll see who's going to get the job done here tonight. Garrett Maines, certainly can't rule him out as a favorite, as he is just about every week. Kevin Freese as well. But I'm telling you, Ron Morris Jr., he knows that he sponsored this race tonight. He wants to make some noise, and now with Zach Range up there, I think we're going to see a lot of aggression between these two pushers in row number 2.
Absolutely, we are. Range, in fact, already on the rear tailgate of Garrett Maines. Green flag back in the air, lap 17 on the board, and Range, look at the push he gives Maines on the restart. Outside line rolling big way. Range immediately hangs the left, says, I want the lead for myself. The problem is Kevin Freese, not a great run on the bottom, so the top will continue to roll. Allows Alex Hill, Matt Lee, Dylan Bass, and a few others to come forward. Maines will lead them out of the super stretch. Where do Alex Hill and Matt Lee go right here?
Alex Hill's giving a big push to Garrett Maines, and I don't think he'll go anywhere right now except stay behind the one. Maybe a little three-wide action already starting out back. Looks like we got a couple jumping out of line. Andrew Navarro took a thought at it, quickly thinks better of it. Daniel Eberhard did, but didn't get any help, so not sure if he was trying to fall to the back, but that's exactly what's going to happen. Still 2x2 up front, though, as they work their way off of turn 4. First lap that Zach Range will be on the front row here of the night, so Kevin Freese still getting adjusted to the 043 a little bit, but shouldn't take too long, as now we're going to see that third lane form up. Mike Davenport, Andrew Navarro, and Dylan Jones starting to roll the top.
It was a nice power move by Davenport to jump out in front of Andrew Navarro. Ryan Baste is in tow as well. Matt Lee gets into Davenport trouble. Around goes several at the front of the field. Navarro and Warner around there wrecking big.
Oh, vicious hit for Navarro. He almost went upside down. The 42 is destroyed as Chad Ross rolls by. And Andrew Navarro's night is going to go up in a big way. That will end his night with that amount of damage as he finally comes to a grinding halt. Up on the wall out of turn number 2. Third caution of the night. And the aggression continues to stay probably at an all-time high of the race. And unfortunately, let's see what happens here. I don't know if it was necessarily aggression that starts this, but watch John Ward here. Go to the chopper view first. On the inside, that's the first truck I saw get sideways. And does somebody come down? Does he get hit from behind? What happens here? Oh, it starts on the top. I take it back. And so that's how John Ward got a shape. So Mike Davenport and Andrew Navarro are going to be bumper to bumper right here. You see Matt Lee in front, but as they get into the corner here, watch the push. Navarro starts to get Davenport a little offset to the right. I think Davenport actually maybe moves down a little bit. And so when Navarro hits him, he's offset to the right. That sends the 55 down into the 8 of Dylan Basson. That gets him down into, it looks like, the 92 of John Ward. And now the wreck's on from here. You see Navarro's going to get turned back down into the pack. Everybody trying to miss it. But once he gets shot back up the track, that's where he takes the massive, massive hit into that outside wall. But yet again, Dawson, everybody on their tippy toes misses it. That will definitely be a night ender, though, for Andrew Navarro.
Yeah, and this is such a weird sequence. Another one, I just, it almost felt like this move was a little bit too much. Matt Lee goes to square up to Mike Davenport, but the problem is the third line has such a run at that point. By the time they get to him, the Davenport has to lift. If he doesn't lift, he's going to drive right through Matt Lee and cause an even bigger wreck. So by lifting, though, Navarro drives through him. They all kind of offset. It was a kind of a weird moment where the third line pushed through each other. And then, yeah, Navarro gets hooked. He gets the blunt end of that for sure. And it's going to bring his night to an end. A whale of a wreck. I'm surprised it wasn't any bigger than that.
Let's take a look here on the onboard for Andrew Navarro. And man, another guy that he's got all the talent, but everybody says it, you still need some luck in these races, and didn't have that luck here tonight, so he will not be seeing a chance at a cash spot as everybody else ducks to the inside. And you still got to give hats off to Andrew Navarro right there for making sure that he kept it up on the wall and not collecting anybody else as they all roll by. And we'll take one more view of this again from TV Follow. And as he gets turned back up here, it was the 85 of Raymond Hanneman who actually hit. So the 85, maybe a little bit of damage. And then Dylan Jones, you got to think he's got some front-end damage after that big hit. T-bones Navarro up against the outside wall. And so they'll continue cleanup here on the third caution of the night. 25 laps to go already. Goes by just that quick. And it is Alex Hill being scored as your leader. Matt Lee in second with Cody Nagels in third. Raymond Hanneman in fourth. Michael Trasquero fifth. Brock Westerlund in sixth. Daniel Eberhardt seventh. Mark Vondell eighth. Ken McCullough Jr. in ninth. Rounding out top 10 is David Sheets. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back with more. Stick with us for the restart. We'll go side by side at Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead on the wreck.
3x3 entering 4.
3 deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. A couple things developing here that we figured out over the break. And Baker actually here with a couple of them. First thing that we heard Baker break it down for us real quick was, I think we're good to go on fuel. And also, these guys all of a sudden are racing against the clock.
Yeah, they got to finish this race within the hour. That sun's going to start getting real low, and visuals are going to get pretty hard. We're going to race it out nonetheless, but just need a little more clean racing here as the pace car pulls off, and MBG up front, 1, 2, 3.
Sunset at Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to be 23 laps to go. Again, everybody good to go on fuel. So that means the aggression level is getting ready to ramp up more than we have seen all night. A couple new guys popping in the top 10. There's Mark Vondell, Michael Triscaro, David Sheets as well. McCullough Motorsports starting to make their way to the front. But right off the get-go, it's Dale Cup with a good restart. Alex Hill on the inside, Matt Lee on the outside. Diving into turn 1, they'll stay even.
Yeah, a few other guys making their way back towards the front. Raymond Hanneman is inside the top 5. Brock Westmoreland is up here as well. A couple others. Trevor Osmanoff further back. He's made his way up into this front pack as well. Onto the super stretch, Matt Lee is going to go right to the race lead. Would not be surprised to see him drop down across his teammates' nose if they can get clear, but on the bottom, Cody Nagels working away at it here, pushing hard on Alex Hill. Third lane further back, Nash Brambilla, Zach Range, couple others starting to lean out that way. Into 3 and 4, does anybody go with them? They're trying to bring the cavalry to the front.
And it is time to go to the front because we're seeing it up top now. Nash Brambilla, Zach Range getting lined up. They need a little more help. I saw further back Malik Ray in that 42 truck. He's taking a couple peeks. There he goes. And when you get one pro lined up, you're probably going to get a couple more takers with that lane. So the 42 up top joins the 043 and the 18. And now we're going to see Garrett Maines. He'll jump to the top to try his luck as well. David Sheets jumps up. Mark Vondell will stay on the outside. Further up, Alex Hill, he's going to jump in front of Matt Lee, one of the NBG guys. Raymond Hanneman still in the top 5. That damage must not have affected him too bad. And here we go, 3 wide as they enter on to the Alabama gang back straightaway.
The third line starting to really gain some energy here as we're halfway down the backstretch, headed for 3. David Sheets has made his way inside the top 5. He's going to make his way to 4th here as we enter turn number 3. It's now 5 rows deep of 3x3. Chad Ross has joined the party at the back of this tail end of the third line, but up front still all 6 and 77. They continue to lead the way. Be the maestros of the field. Triscaro, he's got a handful underneath the 34 right now. Up top, it's going to allow the top line to continue rolling. The middle is separating. David Sheets trying to make his way forward. Hill back to the lead of the line.
And still side by side as they cross the line. That third lane's rolling pretty well. David Sheets still has not won a PGR race. He's had a couple looks at it, and he's got a good one here tonight. Rolling on the top with a good pusher and Garrett Maines. But that bottom lane is going to start to surge here again with Alex Hill and Cody Nagels locked up. The two teammates pushing hard, as is Brock Westmoreland on Matt Lee in the middle. All 3 lanes now surge at the same time. And that outside not quite getting the run we normally see. Baker, you think that's the cooler track temp?
Yeah, I do think it's cooler track temp. It's only going to get cooler as the run goes on, but you see the move by Alex Hill up to that middle line, keeping his teammates cool. And if you keep the middle and top lane, the middle and the bottom lanes cool, I really think it's going to be hard for the third line to get rolling. But we'll see what happens. This dynamic track's about to kick in about 5 laps. We'll see if the bottom starts to go away and that third line starts to form.
Well, I tell you what, the bottom's still dominant so far. Nagels back out to almost a whole truck clear here of Alex Hill, his teammate. Third line starts to fade again. Hill and Nagels will race side by side down the super stretch one more time. And man, this is playing out picture perfect for those 3 drivers up front for NBG, as no one's really been able to put up a fight with those guys so far in the third lane. Garrett Maines is working his tail off here trying to get David Sheets to the front, but it's just not working out for him. It's allowed these 2 teammates up front to really control the field and play Pied Piper.
Starting to turn into a little bit of a gridlock here as Trevor Osmanoff, ooh man, a lot of wheel movement actually right there out of Trevor Osmanoff, just caught it. He is right in the middle of this hornet's nest, not too many places to go. He's on the inside as Maines will drop back to the middle. How about Sierra Clampert? She's starting to work her way back up into the mix as we take a ride on board here with Trevor Osmanoff. Do you see what he's doing? He's leaving a little bit of a gap. There's no point in being right on the back bumper of Christopher McCullough right now because that lane's not going to move any faster. He's too far back to really make any progress. So by staying back a little bit more here, if they wreck, you might give himself a chance. But I'm telling you, Osmanoff, he will be thinking about moving further towards the front here soon, but nowhere to go as that gridlock continues down the back straightaway. Sierra Clampert moves to the inside. Michael Guest now starting to work his way up. Him and Garrett Maines have found each other. Kylo Wynn back there on the outside. And a couple of other big names starting to come towards the front. Malik Ray, though, he's been trapped towards the back most of the night. He's just behind Jeff Merck after being in that wreck. He's not been able to get back to the front yet either. We're going to be coming to 18 laps to go this time, and that sun keeps getting further and further down on the horizon.
I just noticed as you come off turn 4 and head back towards the grandstands, there is a considerable amount of darkness starting to set in on the front stretch of the trial. We'll have to see how that affects driver visibility here. The backstretch still A-OK so far. They still got plenty of sunlight over there. But watch next time we come back by the trial and back by the grandstands. The sun in Talladega sets behind the front stretch grandstands off to the west of the racetrack. So just keep that in mind as they continue to race off towards the trial. Well, the visibility may become an issue. And when we're 3x3, make it, 10 rows deep at this point? This could present a serious problem. Zach Range, by the way, power move to get up to the third line. He wants to lead, and he wants it right now.
How good of a sight is this? I mean, 3 wide, about 10 rows deep up front. There's not a lot of movement, though, anymore. It's about probably the same 3 or 4 guys that continue to just push past each other. So, Dawson, the next thing I got to ask is, what do we think of a chance of maybe seeing a 4th lane? Right now, it doesn't look like there's enough room out there. But if these guys tighten up, I think there's a chance. Ooh, Nagels with a big move up to the middle. Now Michael Triscaro is going to go to the lead off of turn number 2.
Yeah, I don't know. A 4th lane is viable here for sure, but we'll have to see how the track changes. You heard Baker talking about the dynamic track will be kicking in here in the next couple laps, and as it does, we're going to have to see what line becomes viable. If the top line becomes the viable line in that 3rd lane up there where Zach Range is right now, I absolutely think you could see a 4th line as guys struggle to get up there, fight for that real estate that's going to get them to the front. We'll have to see, but now 3rd lane fades huge. 2 wide now, about 6 rows deep up front. Nagels is up top, but his teammates have lost the hold on both lanes. How about Triscaro and Eberhard on the bottom making their way forward?
And that 3rd lane has just completely disappeared to the back of the train. It's went right now, and Kyler Wynn, J.R. Miller, they've still got some help out there. You see Range out there as well, but they just can't seem to get anything going. So unless some other people decide to take it, we may go double file here for just a little bit, almost the calm before the storm, if you will. But up front, it's been Dale Cup for most of the night, no surprise, and it's still Dale Cup at this point. Alex Hill on the outside, Cody Nagels on the inside, but how about Daniel Eberhard, one of the independent drivers? He's up to 3rd on the inside. Raymond Hanneman still up there along with Nash from Villa, Michael Guest, Garrett Maines. I'm telling you, Dawson, those 2 trucks lined up, 2 pros, you know they got a lot of chemistry. Watch for them to jump to the outside together as York jumps up, and Jason Maines is going to bring it down to the pits.
Interesting decision there by Jason Maines. Unsure what the issue is aboard the one machine right as you talk about it. Garrett Maines to the outside. Michael Guest to the outside. They bring Dylan Jones, a truck who knows Garrett Maines very well, but now he gets shuffled out of line. He's got to go back down to the middle. Logan York has made his nose, he got his nose in there on Dylan Jones somehow up in the outside line, now starting to lose some ground. But Maines and Guest, here they come to the front. They realize it's time to go with 15 laps to go. Man, up front, these guys got to be watching in their mirror. They see the 1 truck in the 23 coming. Will they be able to stop their own when it gets there?
Yeah, Cody Nagels did see it coming. That's why he jumped back up as quick as he did. He knew they were going to get a run. He didn't know how big it'd be, and I think he wants to be up there to try to defend them from getting clear. It's okay if they get a run, but you don't want to get clear of the middle and the bottom. That'll give Garrett Maines control, but they got to get up there first and still struggle a little bit. But Michael Guest is going to apply another phenomenal push through the short chute into the tribal, and just like that, Garrett Maines will draw even with Alex Hill as they come across the start-finish line. 14 laps to go at Talladega.
And right back to 3x3, 9 rows deep in the field here is just as it got back to 2 wide, all of a sudden these guys say it's time to race once again. Nagels back to the middle in front of his Dale Cup teammate, the 77 Alex Hill. They're going to try to keep Maines and Guest pinned to the outside here. They're going to do just that. Great push by Alex Hill. They're going to cancel out the run down the back. Hard side draft here by Maines and Guest. Almost contact between Hill and Guest into 3.
Yeah, and as each lap goes by, they're going to continue to tighten those lanes up more and more. The side drafts will become that much more aggressive each lap that we do. And so right now, Cody Nagels and Alex Hill, they're just trying to make that 3rd lane run out of temps to a degree. Michael Triscaro, he's saying, can you guys please stay up there as long as possible? He wants to win himself one. But man, they're stacking up out back. Malik Ray, here you go, Dawson. First man to experiment with that 4th lane tonight. How far can he get with Kevin Freese?
I think they'll be able to get quite a ways. Zach Range, you may see him try it as well.
All right, out back.
Goes Brock Westmoreland and a few others, and that includes, I believe, Malik Ray.
And yet the 42 goes spinning down the banking. Freeze tries to miss him. Oh, gets hit head on right there at the end of the 27 of Tucker McClendon. See the 2 of William Hicks driving by. Brock Westmoreland was involved. For the guys that still need to go to the front and are concerned about time, that is not what they wanted to see. As 4th caution of the night comes with 13 laps to go. And just based off scoring, a lot of people either missed or maybe got slightly involved in this one. So let's go take a look here at exactly how this deal starts and how it ultimately ends. So here you go, TV follow cam. They get 4 wide. You see it's Malik Gray on the outside, and now it's J.R. Miller that's the odd man out. And as he starts to come down a little bit right here, you got to wonder if maybe, try to figure out, I think that was that Danny Eshelman. We're going to figure out who this is before we go any further. Yeah, that was Danny Eshelman, the 43 machine. Not sure if it spooks him or if he gets a little contact. Thinking maybe it just spooked him a little bit. Let's see. Let's take a listen on the cockpit view first. He sees it there 4 wide. And, ooh, yeah, he lets off immediately. Yeah, and he just gets turned there. I need to back this up even more here. I apologize for it, but here we go. And no, he doesn't. And maybe he lets off just a little bit, Dawson, but actually he doesn't really move. Looks like he holds a pretty steady wheel. So what's going to happen is he actually gets tagged from behind. Try to figure out who he had behind him here. I think it was William Ransone. Looks like it is. And just going to get to the back bumper on the right side, tags him. Maybe a little bit of a checkup. Just kind of a racing incident there, and that turns Danny Eshelman down the track into Brock Westmoreland. Once he gets up, gets into Kevin Freeze. Malik Gray gets turned around. There you see J.R. Miller trying to sneak by. He's going to make a little contact as well. And then everybody trying to avoid it. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. What a hit. Up further on the field. I can't tell. I think that was Dylan Basson. He got up and over. Holy moly. So everybody except for the 8 truck doesn't look like their race is going to be over, but Dylan Basson, I mean, what a hit that was.
Yeah, a huge hit for Basson. He gets tagged by Ransone, who's coming back down the banking there as they try to get through the tail end of that wreck, and he gets the blunt end of it. I don't know about Kevin Freese. He got a pretty good hit to the wall. I know the wheel damage on these trucks can be pretty feisty. But for Malik Ray, I don't think he's got too much notable damage here out of what, again, I thought should have been a lot bigger than it was. And minus Dylan Basson, not a ton of big damage in that one.
Certainly not. And taking one more look at this one here, actually a couple. First one is the onboard for Dylan Basson. He saw the beginning and unfortunately the end in this wreck. So he's going to see Danny Eshelman get turned down. First truck involved, but he initially saves it. Probably thinks he's through it at this point, and then once you get turned there, it's just nothing you can do. Goes over, looks like 1.5, make it 2. But I think Malik Ray, Tucker McClendon, they did make some head-on contact, but I think those two should be okay. Richard Elliott looks okay. William Ransone, Brock Westmoreland does have some front-end damage as well. But as we go back live, go up front here, it's going to be a restart with under 10 to go here, Dawson. And how about it? Series owner Michael Triscaro, he is up front leading at Talladega. So let's see if we can maybe bring series owner here in the booth for just a moment, see what he feels like his chances are the rest of the way. And we'll pull him in here. I thought for a minute he might have been busy, but here we go. Let's see what he's got to say. Hey, Michael Triscaro, this is Austin Dawson and Baker in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going, man?
Good. Well, here you are, man. You've had a lot of chances at it. We see you each and every week. Series owner, though, you still got to get that first win. What are you going to do here? What's the game plan to try to maintain the rest of the way?
I'm going to stay on the bottom here, and me and Cody have a lot of chemistry together, and Alex and stuff like that. I race with these guys all the time, so I'm just going to stay put kind of on the bottom, push them clear, and get my temps down, and just hope the chips fall in the last lap for me this time. It's a long time coming, man. It's almost a year, so I'd love to get my first PGR victory tonight.
Well, you've been dialed in all night. You've had a great run now. The other question that we got to ask is, when we have payouts this big, you find yourself in first. If you end up losing that lead or the way things work out, do you stay aggressive and go for the win, go for broke, or do you just kind of try to keep it safe here and stay in the top 6?
Yeah, I personally don't care as much about the money in this series, at least. I want the win, so I'm going for the win at all costs tonight. So that's kind of my goal. I really want one of these bad, man. I've been close a couple times, and it's always seemed to be on the bad end of the stick, so we're going to try to change that tonight. Told my teammates I was going to be aggressive from the go, and that I've done, and I'm right where I want to be here with 10 to go.
Certainly have, and I got good news for you. Whether you care about the money or not, if you get the win, you get the most money anyway. So good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
All right, man, take care. I'm on the webcam too, so hopefully you can get me celebrating here at the end.
Yes, sir, will do. If Michael Triscaro can bring it home, that'll be one of the greatest celebrations we've seen, as we saw when he got the NSRA championship. And just a quick moment here before we let you take back over here, Dawson. We actually do in chat have a super chat from Retro Obsessed. Good to see you back in here. $2 super chat. And man, looks like it was saying something here about 10th super chat. I don't know about these. We don't do much anymore. And Retro, man, we appreciate it, and it means a lot to us, but just you being in here, letting us know you're enjoying the video means more. We don't really receive the super chats at all anymore, so there's not much point. Your money's just going into a black hole, but nonetheless, we appreciate it. Glad you guys are in here and gearing up for this final finish.
Absolutely, and one thing I want to note again really quick, I know we talked about it a couple of restarts ago, and I don't know if it looks this way on your end as well, but over here, when I'm looking at the monitor, it is really starting to darken up, especially on the front stretch of this racetrack. It is notably darker than when we started the race. Again, I'm not sure if it's affecting visibility, but it is seriously starting to get dark here on the front stretch of Talladega.
Yeah, and there's the onboard again from Michael Triscaro, and the broadcast doesn't quite do it as much justice. You see how bright that light is on the right that's fading out of screen? That does justice. I'm telling you, we've been in the cockpit of these cars a couple times when it's gotten dark, Dawson. It's a lot darker than it looks right now on broadcast, and yeah, you're right. We're running out of time. Got to get this thing wrapped up. Here we go, back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 9 laps to go at Talladega.
Oh man, the top got left in the dust right here. Michael Triscaro out way in front. Luckily for him though, Alex Hill, Matt Lee got a great restart behind him. They are going to roll the bottom lane. The bottom is going to be 2 trucks clear. Matt Lee might be able to get clear, but no. Alex Hill, that's a smart move right there by the 77. Going to leave Michael Triscaro here into the hands of his teammate Matt Lee. Well, let's see what Alex Hill does. Does he try to go to the bottom here? A little bit of dysfunction there on the bottom as Triscaro and Lee trying to get squared up. Kyler Wynn, Dylan Jones to the outside. Hill back to the inside. Nagels leads in 3.
Boy, that all didn't work out too well for Michael Triscaro, but he's got to dial in here and keep his head down as he's going to line up the back bumper of Alex Hill with a big push coming out of turn 4. Here comes that third lane. Michael Guest, Kyler Wynn, Dylan Jones lined up top trying to make something happen. Sierra Clampert's still in the mix. I caught her on the right side of the screen. She's trying to break into the top 10. Now it's going to be D3. Daniel Eberhard jumps up to the top. 8 laps to go, and they are 3 wide for the lead into turn 1.
Look at the veteran move by Alex Hill. That was extremely quick and extremely smart by the 77, trying to stall the run on the top, get in front of his teammate. Garrett Maines is a third truck here in the middle. That's a really strong trio that's trying to fend off Eberhard, Guest, and Kyler Wynn up top. Battle of the stars up front. Michael Triscaro says, thank you very much. I'm going to take this right back. Matt Lee, one of the best pushers on the racetrack, sends him back into 3. 3 wide for the lead, a star-studded front of the field.
3 wide and pushing as hard as they possibly can is what everybody up in this lead pack is doing it. Dawson, we're seeing a little bit of separation of packs here. I think that second group is thinking there's going to be a big one here before this thing's all said and done, trying to play it safe, but everything's still looking clean, and it is Michael Triscaro who's going to get back to the lead as Alex Hill jumps back to the outside. Cody Nagels to push on the outside, Matt Lee to push on the inside, but Daniel Eberhard, he has got some really good help behind him. Michael Guest, Kyler Wynn, and they're going to need it. I think the only way that third lane works, Dawson, is if they stay tandemed up and they keep it that way for the entire lap around this track.
The problem is the longer this run goes... goes up in front of Eberhard. I don't know if I would have taken that if I was Cody Nagels, but he must have seen the run starting to fade. Does he just bunny hop his teammate here? He's going to try to. Triscaro back to the bottom. Hill back to the middle. Back to 3 wide for the race lead. Nagels took that top line, and unfortunately, it's going to hang him out. Eberhard does have fresh temperatures underneath the engine of the number 90, but for at least for now, not working for the top lane right now. Hill, Maines doing an excellent job in the middle. Lee, Triscaro doing an excellent job on the bottom. What do these guys decide to do? We'll be 4 wide momentarily, putting Kevin Freese a lap down. 6 laps to go from Talladega.
I'll tell you exactly what I think they're doing here, Dawson. Michael Triscaro said it. He's worked with these guys a long time, and a lot of guys. He's a man of the people here. Michael Triscaro, series owner. So I think they're trying to help him get the win by any means necessary to a degree. Now you don't want to do anything that's going to be considered bad racing. I don't know what we call the word, but what Cody Nagels did is he jumped out to clog up that third lane. Look at up back, look at big. Too hard into the wall up front. Kyler Wynn's going to go around as he tags Zach Range. Ron Morris Jr. gets in it. Caution is out.
And it's the big one.
It certainly is. You got that right. Man, look at the data here. I think it's going to be easier to count the trucks that missed it. And so, let's go take a look What happened here? I mean, that hit out back. I think it was Raymond Hanneman. That was what first caught my eye, and wish we would have the driver cam on for that. It looks like he's got a direct drive, and boy, that thing snapped his hands right off of the wheel as it happened. So here you go. Let's go to the chopper view first of all. And yeah, there's Raymond Hanneman, the 85. Trying to figure out exactly who he's got behind him. It's a 55 of Mike Davenport. So watch the right side of your screen. Ooh, it's actually going to get down into that middle lane. Does he get a push down there? I'm going to back this up here and actually go to Raymond for it. Show a better angle. So watch Raymond again, second. Actually, we'll go back and say call it fifth on the outside on that third lane. And does he start to drift down? Not really. It looks like at the end he does. So I think this might be a combination of a couple things right here. Watch Zach Range just ever so slightly drift up a little bit. At the same time, I think Mike Davenport gets to the rear bumper of the 85, maybe just slightly sends it to the left. And there may have been just a smidge bit of right rear net code involved as well. All those things added up to ultimately get the 85 turned around. And just really tight racing, you're going to get these little contacts when you're 3 wide. And once that 85 does get down into that middle line, turns Jeff Merkin into the wall, Mike Davenport further up. We almost had 2 wrecks kind of happen in sync to a degree right here. Dawson is, let's see, Kyler Wynn when he gets turned. Oh, he gets into Jones and Brambilla. That's what sparks what looks like that second wreck. Gets into Sierra Clampert. She goes for a spin, but she actually saves it. And then further back, there you see all the damage. Zach Range couldn't escape this one. And so this is going to end the night for quite a few more guys.
Yeah, this is several different wrecks that all happened at once right here. We see the second one. That involves Nash Brambilla, John Ward, Ron Morris, Kyler Wynn, Sierra Clampert, Mark Mondell, a few others. This is a few different wrecks to take out a heavy majority of the cars from about 15th on back or so, and severely reduces the field, and now sends us into a situation where it's a late race restart, and man, it just continues to get darker too.
Yeah, it certainly does. Take one more view of this from the fan cam for whatever they can still see. And we were waiting for it, Dawson, and I think that second group is going to have a really good chance at it now by waiting out the big one. And we saw it late, but we saw it nonetheless. And again, I think Sierra Clampert was the main person to sneak through that. I actually want to take one more shot just to see if there was anybody else that really made it through. You see Mark Vondell on the bottom. Is he going to make it through this? Hey, he gets tagged and gets turned around. But again, I don't think too much damage. You saw Ron Morris Jr. shooting the wall. He took a pretty big hit, a 51 on the bottom. There's the 10 machine as well. Brandon Broadfoot, haven't had a chance to talk about him tonight, but I don't think he sustained too much damage either. So as we go back up front, I think we'll get the one to go signal next time. It's Alex Hill being scored as your leader. Michael Triscaro second. Cody Nagels third. Garrett Maines fourth. Matt Lee in fifth. Daniel Eberhard in sixth. Trevor Osborne seventh. Ken McCullough Jr. in eighth. Michael Guest ninth. And Logan York rounding out your top 10. But how about this, Dawson? Dylan Jones is up 32 positions from where he started tonight. Sierra Clampert just behind him is up 28. Those are your two biggest movers, and they are just about in the top 10.
Yeah, you have to be in the right spot in these kinds of races and put yourself in a position where you can get into the money spots, and Clampert and Jones have done an excellent job. In fact, Dylan Jones, how many times have we said this here on the Ghost Racing Network over the past 7 days? Dylan Jones saves his race right there. Felt like he saved it a few times in last week's Tuesday night race. Tonight he does so again, makes a great save, and now is in a perfect opportunity to pounce here on a late race restart.
Certainly is. All right. So pick your winner here. I mean, I still think there's a lot of guys, but I'm telling you, Dawson, I think it's Triscaro's night. I think he's putting all the chips on the table. He said he doesn't care about the money. He's doing whatever he's got to do for the win. And man, oh man, if he could get that win, you are going to see one heck of a celebration from the driver of the 34 truck.
Certainly the fan favorite pick, I think, would be Michael Triscaro. This is the best race I think he has run in PGR in a very long time in terms of where he's at on track late, how he's run this race, the strategy he's put into it, and he's in a really great spot. Now, for me personally, with just the strength and numbers that they have up here at the front, I have to go with one of the NBG trucks. I think they've run almost a flawless race here at the front of the field, and now in a pretty good spot to control the lanes here and be able to make the right move at the right time. I think one of Alex Hill, Cody Nagels, or Matt Lee probably goes to victory lane tonight.
So remind you real quick, the rules here for a green-white checkered. White flag, well, it'll be the green flag, then the white flag followed by the checkered. If they wreck on the first lap and bring out the caution, we'll rack them up and try it again. However, if they keep it clean and we take that white flag, this race will be official, and that's what we need soon because, again, it just continues to get darker and darker. And, yeah, now it's starting to get to the point where if you're in the front, I think you're okay, but you start to get back in this pack, it's starting to get a little bit tricky as the couple lights that we have around the track here at Talladega, such as the Sunoco signs and A couple of the pit lights continue to get brighter and brighter. Baker's mom says, let's go 34. And speaking of Baker, haven't had a chance to talk to him in a while. I know he's keeping things tight with race control, but it's been a pretty eventful one here tonight. Baker, I mean, what have you thought overall, and what are you expecting for this finish?
Man, it's some crazy blocks being thrown into the third and second lanes. A lot of fun to watch. As we come out of turn 4 here, I'm hoping for a really good, clean run to this finish. And after green light checker coming to this line here, look for. I think Michael Triscaro gets the job done. I think Cody's going to push him clear. He's going to get up in front of one of the best pushers in the game, try and hold off that third line and get the win.
Well, there you go. He's got his prediction in. Me and Dawson have locked our predictions in. We are about to find out if any of them are true, or maybe we get an upset here tonight. We still got plenty of trucks in the running. Ken McCullough Jr., the veteran, back up here as well. Michael Guest, Sarah Clampert, Frederick Ledusser, Jason Maines. The list goes on and on. Here we go. 2-lap shootout in the RRP 44. Green flag is in the air. Overtime at Talladega.
Pretty good push both ways. Triscaro's got Nagels all over the back decklet of him right now. Garrett Maines shoving hard on Alex Hill up top. Everybody tries to get their way in line. Top 5 on each line are hooked up already, connected to the back bumpers of each other. Triscaro noses out front here off 2. The backstretch, though, will provide the run for the outside. Alex Hill back to the lead on the Alabama Gang super stretch, but look at the push down low from Nagels.
Nagels with another big shove. He is going to stick to Triscaro the rest of the way. Alex Hill and Garrett Maines still locked up. That outside starting to fade. Meanwhile, out back, Guest and York have gotten locked up. Do they take it 3 wide? They don't. Even further back to that, we got a second pack, 3x3, and what this is allowing is the first pack to pull away. But up front, Nagels makes the move on Triscaro. He gets a push now from Osmanoff, but the 6 and Nagels gets clear. So does Everhart as they come to 1 to go.
Yeah, the white flag is in the air, and Cody Nagels has the lead. His teammates on the bottom, but is fading. Now Everhart, Garrett Maines in a pretty good spot right here. Who's going to get the run? Triscaro has to pull up to Alex Hill. By far not out of this yet is Michael Triscaro. Can they get something going? Everhart tries to block Hill. It stacks the bottom up. Everhart's got nothing. Now here comes Garrett Maines onto the super stretch. Can he get a run going? Everhart's still clear of Nagels if he wants it. He steps out, but does he leave Nagels with his teammate? I don't know if he does. Off towards 3. Nagels starting to block. It's going to get racy here.
Yeah, Everhart's not going to let this thing go over the way it is right now. I don't think. We'll see if he makes the move. He's got Garrett up there, but Alex is going to make the move first. Everhart tries to jump. Now he does a big block from the 90. He makes another move. He saves it as he comes back up. Triscaro's going to have to split the middle. 3 wide contact. Wreck it out back. Triscaro goes around. Up front, Nagels and Hill are going to finish 1-2. Dale Cup brings it home. Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega. And they wreck big behind. Well, heartbreak for Triscaro, but another one for Cody Nagels. And you can't be too shocked to see it. He's got all the talent in the world, and he had to do quite a bit of things. But, man, that was one eventful last lap, to say the least, Dawson. I mean, what in the world? We had so many different things going on right there.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting that the first pack was able to pull away like they were, and I think it prevented Everhart from really doing much. His hands were kind of tied right there. I thought once he, tried to go to the bottom and Nagels blocked him to the yellow line, I thought for sure he should have just crossed up and gone back up in front of Garrett Maines. He stays put. Unfortunately, when he tries to make the move, he gets hooked off the racetrack, and by then Nagels Hill able to drive right through, and what a 1-2 finish for these two. It's going to be a hearty celebration for Cody Nagels here on the front stretch.
Yeah, and Cody makes the move, and last lap blocks are a little bit of a different rule than I kind of call it any other last lap or other lap blocks. And the general rule of thumb, at least in my book, we'll see what some of these guys have to say about it, is if you make the block work, or let's say when you block in this case, I don't think Everhart lifted, and he shouldn't have to. I mean, when Cody makes the block, if he's able to make it stick without Everhart lifting, it's a clean block. But if he gets turned, it's on him. But he made it work. So let's take it on board here from Daniel Everhart, as I think what happens is that block, though, by going up, stacks Everhart in. It kind of bottles Everhart up, and Alex Hill, I think, kind of assist Everhart here and getting him turned around. I think Everhart was going to make the crossover back to the bottom, but I think as he's doing it, he gets tagged from Alex Hill, and I'm trying to get a good view of that here from the chopper cam. And again, Alex was tight on the back bumper of Daniel Everhart. So here you go. Watch as they come through 4. So there's the block by Cody. Everhart's going to cross to the bottom, and I think the 77 maybe just tags him a little bit on the right side of the bumper at the same time. And so that gets him more out of shape than he initially would have been. And then to the bottom he goes. They start splitting the gaps. Triscaro's in the middle. It looks like things are going to stay clean here initially. Let's see what causes this to go south. You see Trevor Osronoff is going to try to jump up to the middle. Matt Lee starts to come down. Maybe two guys going to go for the same spot. They get together. Osronoff then gets into Maines, who turns around Triscaro, and then the crap shootout back as they all wreck. Hard into the wall goes Michael Triscaro. And then all trying to save it. Oh, York comes back up the track and cleans out Eberhard. Took Daniel from what would have been in a money position to well out of it. That's a tough break right there. Both of those guys, but definitely, I think we might have a couple tempers after this one, Dawson. It's going to be interesting to read the chats later.
Yeah, but that's, it's relatively normal in these now with the amount of money that's thrown around in these kinds of races. No surprise, the emotions get high, and certainly when you have a finish like that, going to be a lot of spare anger to go around after this one.
Certainly is. Well, let's take a look at your results here before we bring your top three in here for interviews. You saw Cody Nagels there sitting at the start-finish line. I think we missed his celebration, but nonetheless, he is your winner tonight at Talladega. Alex Hill brings home second. It's a 1-2 for Dale Cup as Garrett Maines brings home third. Ken McCullough Jr., good run for him in fourth. Trevor Osnoff, top five finish. And Kyler Wynn, one of the independent drivers, able to finish in the money and captures that last money spot. He brings home sixth. Matt Lee, seventh. Ryan Based in eighth. Michael Guest in ninth. Garrison Hogan rounding out your top 10.
Jason Maines finishes 11th tonight with Malik Ray in 12th. Logan York ends up 13th. William Hicks finishes 14th with Frederick Ladisura in 15th. Aiden Kirk, his return to PGR, he finishes 16th tonight. Tucker McClendon in 17th. Richard Elliott finishes 18th. Brent Garber finishes 19th. And Austin Floyd rounds out the top 20.
William Ransone finishes 21st. John Warden 22nd. Sierra Clampert 23rd. Mark Vondell 24th with Brock Westmoreland in 25th. David Sheets 26th. And going on back to 27th, it's Michael Triscaro. Heartbreak again at the line, but it's where it's going to end his night. Dylan Jones, 28th. Danny Esserman, 29th. And Nash Brambilla rounding out your top 30.
Jeff Merck finishes 31st. Mike Davenport finishes 32nd. Larry McDonald in 33rd. Daniel Eberhard ends up 34th on my results there. One lap down somehow out of all that. Raymond Hanneman, 35th. Zach Raines, 36th. Ron Morris, 37th. Brandon Broadfoot, his return tonight, 38th. J.R. Miller, 39th. Chad Ross, 40th. And I'll just go ahead and finish it out while we're down here. Kevin Freese finishes in 41st. Ellen Basson in 42nd. Andrew Navarro in 43rd. And Steve Sizemore rounds out the field tonight in 44th.
All right, well, we are going to go get your top three in here for interviews. Stick around to hear how the race went from your top three. Be right back to Talladega. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Garrett Maines. Garrett, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, got a little messy there towards the finish. We actually saw that first pack kind of pull away from the rest of the field, but unfortunately it ends in a wreck, and you still managed to come through it to bring home third. Tell us about that crazy last lap.
I'm still confused why we tanked so hard down the backstretch. I thought we were in contention for the win, and that we were going to be right in the middle of everything, and coming off of turn 4, that is exactly where we were. And shoot, I mean, we were literally wrecking like 3 separate times. I have no idea how I kept it straight. I'm actually still watching the replay back. I mean, I basically was turning right all the way down the front stretch and was barely going straight from all the contact hooking me to the left. But I cannot complain to come home third after all that. We played some strategy earlier in the race, and that did not work out for us. We got very lucky to recover. In fact, me and Kyler were the only 2 to recover, and I think Kyler kind of lucked into that at the end with the crash. So we played the wrong strategy, I'll tell you that. But got lucky to still be in contention and be there at the end to get in the cash, get an interview, take it.
There you go. Well, sometimes you need some luck in these. You got what you needed here tonight. You get a pretty good payday as well. Before we let you head out to enjoy it, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body, Lennox, the guys at Ryko Performance for all their support. And also shout out to FGR Excel as well. I know that was announced this afternoon. We'll be back on the team for the Coke Series this season, so excited to start that.
Congratulations on it. Can't wait to see you over there, and can't wait to see you again hopefully next week. Congrats on third, and thank you for talking to us.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, and now that's going to move us on to your second place finisher here on the night, Alex Hill. Alex, this is Austin the Booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, chaos that last lap. You made a move. Don't quite bring home the win, but the way it pans out, you're able to see Dale Cup get a 1-2. You come home second. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a good race. Just pretty much staying up front. Track position was king with the cold track temps in. The race plan going into the evening really helped the track cool down pretty much a good bit. But yeah, just staying up front, being consistent, just staying aggressive throughout the entire race. I didn't really want to get behind, really behind the third lane. I mean, the third lane, yeah. And I just stayed up front the whole race like I usually do, and we got it done.
Certainly did, and you certainly got the job done. Well, not much more to ask because, I mean, you did. You stayed at the front, mostly uneventful for you on the night. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thanks to everybody at Dale Cup, Cody, everyone at MBG, Matt, Merck, all of them. Thank you to you for broadcasting. Mike had a good run there. Sucks that he couldn't close in on that win, but thank you to him for putting this race on as well. And thank you to Baker for broadcasting this race. Or not broadcasting, but race controlling and broadcasting.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and we will see you next week, little bro. All right, and that's going to bring in your winner here tonight, Cody Nagels for Dale Cup. Cody, this is Austin and Dawson in the booth. And actually, I'm going to let Dawson interview you. I think he's pretty excited for it.
Yeah. Hey, Cody, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, what's up, Dawson?
Well, you guys ran a pretty much flawless race up front. You know, I called my shot in the last restart, said one of you three that was up front was going to win the race. You guys cash in on it. First off, take me through that last sequence, a bunch of chaos with the whole first pack, and obviously Daniel Eberhard taking a shot at it right there. What's going through your mind? You're coming off 4, and Eberhard is clear to the top.
Well, that's the thing, is I really wanted to get Mike the win, and I know how much he wanted it, and I feel like complete crap that I didn't stay with him, but I mean, we all know how the frickin' draft works. If I stay bottom, we're going to get absolutely destroyed from the middle. Daniel was clear. He had the run. It's either go right there, and I was honestly hoping that Mike would go with me, but it's either go right there or get buried. There's no other option, knowing that the bottom was about to parachute. If all three of us stayed together, the bottom would have been fine. But I already know that Daniel's moving up, so my only option is honestly just to go up. I really hate it for Mike, but as far as the team goes, yeah, I mean, felt like we ran a flawless race. I don't run every race with Lee and Merck, but I don't know, kind of pretty seamless, I think, with us having a little bit of past history together, and it took a complete effort tonight. We can't control the front of the field like that without a complete effort from everyone on the team from NBG.
Certainly was a great effort. It looked like the times of old between you four up front in the field right there. Well, I'll tell you what, something we talked about during the course of the race as it got later on was the visibility. And I kind of just, I want to know, first off, was it ever an issue with the sun going down and getting dark across the front stretch? Was that ever an issue for you guys up front? And then just kind of take us through how it changed throughout the race.
I believe it was in 3 and 4 that the glare was real bad, if I'm remembering correctly, but that was the worst of it for me. 1 and 2 was pretty dark. Visibility wasn't an issue, but I fought it almost with a blind spot in 3 and 4. Just had to kind of use muscle memory, keep a straight wheel, and just don't make any erratic moves that could get me hooked from the guy behind.
Well, absolutely. It works out for you. You get to victory lane here tonight in PGR Esports. And while we got you here for a second, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you and Austin and Ghost Racing Network for everything you do. Baker for race control. Give a shout out to Mike T for running a fantastic race, and I am sorry that had to work out for you that way. I just honestly felt like there was no other option. I know this is your wife's birthday, so I do want to give a special shout out to her. Happy birthday. All the guys at NBG, thanks for having me and Alex again. I don't know, it just seems like we've got a pretty dang good chemistry when we do run together. So I'd love to do it again with them and run them back next week potentially. And I want to thank my parents, and I know it doesn't really get said enough on these broadcasts, but I think we need to thank all of our men and women in uniform. If they weren't out there risking their lives every single day, I don't think we could be doing this for a hobby right now.
Oh, absolutely correct. Congratulations on a fantastic effort tonight. A flawless run for you guys, a 1-2 for your team, and a victory for you. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, and that is just about going to wrap up our coverage from Talladega here tonight. Another week, another good race, another crazy finish. But tell you what, it was good to be back in the trucks here tonight, Dawson. It was good to have you back in the booth as always, and hope to expect more of the same next week.
Absolutely. Great racing as always, and obviously some extra wrenches thrown into tonight's race that made it really fun to watch. Really fun finish there between Eberhard and Cody and Alex and all those guys running up front, and in the end, a 1-2 for the teammates and another crazy finish in PGR.
And of course, we had Baker on race control, but still helping us in the booth tonight. Baker, what was your overall thoughts on the race, and what'd you like, what'd you didn't like?
Yeah, I think the track tip will crank it up just a little bit. I like this time of day, though. The track tip doesn't change much. It goes down just a little bit. Probably change the time of year, see if we can get the track tip towards the 90s, maybe in the 110 range, see what that top lane can do. But, I mean, you saw it. It was 10 rows deep of three-wide racing for the better half of this race, if not 3/4 of this race, just a couple mix-ups towards the middle. But that was some very, very good racing, very realistic green-white checker that you see in the Truck Series. Unfortunate for Triscaro there. It was really pulling for him, but I know if he keeps plugging along, it's going to pay out for him for sure.
Just a matter of time indeed. All right, that'll wrap it up for coverage here tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed as always. Thank you all so much for coming out. We will be back next week, same place, same time, I believe, unless we have something different. But nonetheless, that's going to wrap it up for me, Austin Green, Dawson Wise, and Matthew Baker here on Ghost Racing Network. Thanks again. Till next time, have a good night.